Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're going to have a little chat about one of the quickest errata changes I think I've seen for quite some time, but in a positive way, in a good way. It's nice, it's good. And we're also going to talk about, frankly, worthless questions making it into FAQs, because there was a question in the latest one that frankly did my head in, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, firstly, Haarken Worldclaimer. He had an update in the errata. So his rules were changed so that as a Black Legion special character, his abilities work specifically with the Raptor Vanguard of the Black Legion. Apparently this is in line with the studio's original intent for the character, or at least that's what it says on the Warhammer community site for the article talking about this. But not a lot of people liked that. In fact, a lot of people didn't like that at all, because that kind of cuts down on his usefulness for a start. I mean, only having him able to affect Black Legion Raptors, bit of a downgrade. And to be honest, Haarken Worldclaimer is significant enough that the War Master literally trusts him to show up to a world, stick his spear in the floor, and say, "This will be the War Masters in 80 days." That, to me, suggests that he is not some random dude. He's not just some guy. He's not some, idiot that has just shown up and is giving it large about how, him and the War Master are, dead close, like that. He's obviously got some sort of pull. He's got some power. He has some clout. So for him to essentially have no effect on the Raptors of other legions, on the one hand, I can see it. On the other hand, it kind of reduces his significance, I feel. And the thing is, a lot of people felt that way. It was a kind of mix of, that makes him just worse in every way. Why would you do that? And is this guy really that insignificant that the the Raptors of other legions just go, "Nah, mate, I don't care about you. You have no effect on me whatsoever. I'm not going to follow you." And so they changed it. They actually have changed it back. It's like, I think it's one of the quickest undoings or erratas of an errata that I've seen for ages, where the change came in, everyone went, "Whoa, that's crap. Why would you do that?" And they went, "Yeah, you know what, that's fair enough. Fixed." So now it works for all Raptors of the Traitor Legions. He can now, his ability just is, it spreads like it should. I think, to be honest, for certain characters and for certain legions, certain positions, there should be a bit of leeway. There should be a bit of give. It should be that, yes, this person is significant enough that even warriors from other places will stand up and pay attention. They will follow that leader because that leader is strong enough and significant enough to essentially throw their weight around whether or not they are part of that group. The War Master is one. I think anyone who the War Master trusts as much as he clearly trusts Haarken Worldclaimer should be another. I like it. I like the fact they've listened, and I like the fact that you do actually now have that synergy with Raptors of all the different varieties, that you can actually properly use him as the fully dangerous and kind of right-hand man of the War Master that he is being portrayed as. Anything less than that would make it kind of a bit underwhelming. So making that change and then reversing it and actually listening to what everyone said, I like the fact that they've listened that quickly and they've changed it that quickly. That is a really good sign. So there is something positive out of this. There was a change made. People didn't like the change, and they said, "Okay, you're right. We will change it again. That's fine." However, there is something in the FAQ that also irritated me a significant amount. So let me just pull this up so I get the quote exactly right. So, if the acceptable casualties rule is being used in the mission, and I concede, does my opponent still win the battle? Now, funnily enough, the answer to this question is yes, the opponent does still win the battle. If you voluntarily concede, if you say, "I concede, I lose," you do not magically win because you have said that you don't win. That's not what conceding means. That kind of question, honestly, genuinely pisses me off, because someone has had to read that. They've had to go, right, well, I guess we've got to answer that one then. They've then had to put their answer, and it's then had to be published so other people can read someone being either that guy or just being a bit of an idiot. Questions like that, I genuinely feel like there are enough questions that will come in for this kind of thing whereby you could, you'd have material for days, for weeks, for FAQs for the foreseeable future. There cannot be a shortage of good quality questions. That's not a good quality question. That's someone taking the piss. That's either someone taking the piss or that's someone who thinks they can get away with something and is trying to be a bit cheeky. Or possibly it could be that this is someone who has had a battle where the acceptable casualties rule is in play and someone has tried to pull that on them and said, well, if you read it because I concede, I technically win. If someone does that, and it's so blatantly clear, it's so obviously not a technicality thing, it's just someone being a fucking idiot, you need to tell them, no, that's not how that works, don't be stupid. You do not win the battle by going, I lose. That's literally what this question essentially reads. If I voluntarily lose the battle, do I actually win? No, of course you don't fucking win. You have voluntarily lost. That's what conceding means. This annoyed me because there has to be better quality questions that can go in the FAQs. There cannot be a shortage of quality questions to the extent where that actually has to be given an answer. That's not even like a rules clarification thing. That is a common sense thing. That's not a technicality thing. That is just, the word concede means you've lost. That's what that means. It is not some way of twisting your way into magically winning the fight because you have voluntarily stated that you did not win. Concede means concede. It doesn't mean, but I think you'll find, actually, through the remarkable twist of fate that is the wording on this rule, by conceding, I am indeed the victor. No, it means you've lost. That's all that means. The fact that they've actually had to put this in and answer this, I don't know whether it's because it's enough people asked it. I don't know whether it's because a thing of, we need to clarify because, what if someone tries to pull it? That is a common sense thing that should not need clarification whatsoever, and there has to be better questions than that. There has to be better questions that are more deserving of better in-depth answers than, if I intentionally lose, do I actually win? Because that's not a fucking question, is it? That's someone being a dickhead. So, much though I appreciate the amount of effort that goes into the FAQs, and the amount of effort that goes into all of the errata stuff, don't ask that question. If you're someone who needs to ask that question, ask someone who, I don't know, isn't being an idiot. And if you receive that question, don't fucking answer it. You don't need to answer that. It's not necessary. It's not required. That is not required essential information to be spreading. That if you say that you lose, you don't win, that's not something that needs an answer. The answer is implicit in the question. If I concede, does my opponent still win? Of course not, because you've used the word concede, which means you've lost. That's it. There is no need for that to be in there at all. Really annoyed me, because it's exactly the kind of pathetic, irritating, rules lawyering bullshit that guy uses all the time. It's that kind of pull the wool over your eyes, try and be fucking greasy about the way you play nonsense that guy that there is one of in every game store, in every hobby, the one who always has to try and win no matter what happens, even using just outright cheating or trying to twist technicalities. That is the epitome of that shit. Doesn't deserve an answer. Ignore questions like that. Don't ever answer them. Just email back. Don't be a twat, and then just send it off. Don't even put it in the thing. Just ignore them. Not a good question. Didn't need an answer. And if someone was trying to pull that, never play with them again. Easy. Done. Sorted. Anyway, that got a bit ranty very quickly, didn't it? Thank you very much for watching. If you've taken a look through the FAQ and all the extra stuff, what's in there, if there's anything that's taking your fancy or something you don't like in there, because quite often that happens, let me know what that is in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click Patreon, video, subscribe, all that shit. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.